Hey friend, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Heather, and this is Create Your Own Cozy. On today's video, I am using the August Maker's Box from Sonnet. If you want to see what I created, get inspired to get creating yourself, stick around. For you guys that have already subscribed to Sonnet's Curated Maker's Box, you know how fun it is to get this box every month, directly picked and curated by Sonnet, and be inspired and challenged to create in ways you might not otherwise do. For me, a lot of times that means with styles and colors I wouldn't normally pick, but it has done a really good thing for my creative soul in getting me to step outside of my comfort zone. The first two I'm showing you are from Royce with Roycycled Decoupage Paper. We've got Everywhere Signs and Parked. Next are some papers from Connie over at the Painted Photographer. We've got McSusan and Sunny Days, which have some gorgeous blues, yellows, and browns just in time for this fall season. Look at these cute little keys. She always throws in something extra and fun. For milk paint this month, we've got the color Denim. This is not a color I would gravitate toward, but I ended up loving it. DIY paint, Old 57. I have not opened a can of that yet, but Little Black Dress, you guys know I used that in last week's video, so I'm very excited to get these out. And then Lichen and Wellington, which are very fall colors from Fusion Mineral Paint. And let's go ahead and get started with project number 1. I had thrifted this 4-pack of wall plaques, I guess is what you would call them, a while back. I got 4 of these for $13. There are some places that they really were rough, so they needed to be upcycled in some way. I was thinking that I would do some type of paint technique, and then decided, what if I just took one at a time and made something interesting one at a time? So I am going over this whole thing with White Swan by DIY Paint. A lot of times when you're using the decoupage papers, it makes sense to put some white underneath to make the colors more vibrant. Hindsight, I might have just put the decoupage paper right over the brown, since I am going for that grungy industrial look, but it all worked out in the end. Next, I'm going over portions of these planks with liquid patina from DIY, and then I'm wetting down the paper so that I can kind of get it to stretch over these boards. You will see that I do a lot of moving around of this paper, and I've been used to working with rice paper lately, and I might have overworked it in a couple of areas, but no worries. If you guys do that, I've got a little bit of a solution for you for that as well. So I'm going over the 3 little slats and then doing the decoupage, or doing the liquid patina on the top, and then working my way across the board with putting the liquid patina underneath, spraying down the paper so that it moves better, and then decoupaging on the top. So because this board had uneven slats, I put my hand in a plastic bag to try to get the paper to lay down a little bit, and it did tear the paper a little bit, but like I said, I have a solution in the end where it doesn't stick out the way that it currently is. Oh my goodness, Heather, you're making a mess, but let's just keep going and this will turn out, I promise. Next, after it is dried completely, I am using this amazing little sander. I will have a link in the description below. Make sure that you are sanding away from your project and just sand along the edge, and it allows for a nice clean cut, but make sure your paper is all the way dry. After that, and after it's all the way dry, I do take a straight edge and cut the paper in between each of the slats to try to get the paper to lay down a little bit more. And then I go over this corner right here. Didn't quite dry right. Just add some more liquid patina to that and get it to stick down well. It's just as easy as that. So since I have used liquid patina over all this paper has been sealed, and now I'm just going in with dark wax directly over all of the spots that is showing any of the white paint from underneath or any of the tears where I don't want it to happen. And you can see that I can rub it back. I can put the dark wax on there and I can rub it back so that you can't see splotches. And I really feel like this helped hide some of the spaces that I didn't want to show white through and make it look like this has been on this board for a super long time. So I did go through all of the slats and make sure that there was dark wax everywhere so that it was consistent, but I really feel like this helped this project really come into its own, so to speak. Did you guys like this one? I had this picture frame in my stash and it was already painted white for a base coat, and I was thinking that this could look really cute. I found this extra piece of wood, just sliced it down so that it would fit in there. There's a nice free backing for my paper. I am loving these Black Eyed Susans. They are just speaking to me. So I'm cutting out the paper now using liquid patina to decoupage it onto the board. And then I'm going to get started on making the frame a nice, gorgeous denim blue color. So this is denim from the Sweet Pickins milk paint. And you basically do half and half, and half powder and half water. And then once you mix it up, you either use it or you lose it. So I am usually mixing up smaller batches than I think I might need, or if I mix too big of a batch, I grab something else and make sure I have something else that I want to paint this color. So I'm just going to mix it up well. Usually you should let it sit for about 10 minutes to slightly thicken up, and then get to painting. The thing about milk paint is you never know how it's going to react. There is an extra bond that you can add to make stuff like chip a little bit less. So I just went in one direction for the first layer, and it was kind of watery and I was liking the look of it. And so for the second layer, I just painted in the other direction. It had a very much a linen type look. And then it started very much chipping. I'm using heat so that maybe more chips will appear. I was trying to get it to be chippy. So milk paint does need to be sealed, and my understanding is it's best to seal it with a wax. I just happen to have some of the black oil wax from Sweet Pickins already. I have a clear one and a black, I believe it's the black one, and I just got these little samples. They were like $7 a piece when I had a local stockist, and they have lasted through all of my projects, so they last quite a bit. But you know, DIY's clear wax would work really well too. Just use what you have if you're getting this. So I am just going over and sealing all of this blue. I definitely noticed with that second coat, the color got so much richer. Now this does need to dry just a little bit, but it is totally worth it in the end. Since I had the denim out and I had a little bit extra one of the times around, I went in my stash and I found this basket and didn't love the coloring of it. So I took off the little applique and went over it with 2 coats of milk paint. It can go right over a basket. It really can stick to a bunch of things. I'm glad I had a little stash of something else that needs to be this gorgeous, rich color. Milk paint dries a little bit lighter, and then when you do the oil or the sealer, it definitely richens and deepens the color. While the milk paint was drying, I went ahead and painted the back side of this with the denim and then decoupaged some of Connie's paper on the front so that there could be a cute little hanging tag that matches this basket. So it turns out it's the dark oil wax that I've been using, but I go ahead and seal this basket as well. And after it is completely dry, I did go over it with some DIY dark wax just to get it a little bit darker in some of the areas, but that is up to you. That's the beauty of these things. You can make it however you want it to look. For project number 4, I am going to grab 2 books out of my stash, upcycle them, and get them in my booth. The first color I'm using is a lichen, and there's nothing special about these books. I just got them on one of those, really cheap book days at the thrift store, and it's time to work through them. This lichen color is very much, it reminds me of a mushroom type color. It's a very neutral with a slight green hue to it. And the coverage was really good on the book. I really do like Fusion Mineral Paint. It is a nice paint, and the top coat is already built in, which is a nice step saver for this particular project. So I'm doing 2 coats of this color. Then moving on to my second book, which was discarded from a library, and I am just ripping off the tape, knowing I'm going to be painting over the top of this, and I could always cover that spot up with paper if the paint did not do a good job with that one. So this color is called Wellington, and it is a, I'm gonna say, especially after looking at it on camera, it does have a black with a hint of a green undertone, as you can see, but it went really well with the lichen color, so I really like these 2 colors together, and it really goes well with the Roycycled paper that I'm going to be using to decoupage. Look at this, guys. I am teaching my 15-year-old to drive right now, so that little speed limit section, I think I'm going to save that for something for Piper. And there's also a big stop sign that I'm going to do something for her later. But I love this paper for just multiple project uses. I'm using water with this detail paintbrush and just painting water around where I want to rip the picture out, and then just very carefully putting my finger on the piece and controlling the rip. Go slow here, especially if you have something specific you want to stay within, and that's it. I am not painting the back white because I like this grungy look. I am just decoupaging it straight onto these projects with liquid patina. Guys, this is my favorite decoupage medium. I realized it wasn't straight because that camera was in the way, so I just carefully picked it up and changed it. I did go over the whole book with liquid patina because I wanted the sheen to be the same, and I didn't want it to just be over where I had put the glue, so to speak. So I am going around the sides. I just thought that was a really neat look. I wrap it up with twine, and then I add the cute little keys that Sonnet added to the box. And I love these little books. What do you guys think of these? So as I was doing these, I forgot to look whether I put it on upside down or not. And guys, I put this on upside down on the back of the book. No worries, it wasn't dry yet, so I'm just flipping it over and putting it on the right side. Make sure your books are facing the right way. I know people aren't reading these books, but it just makes more sense. Does anyone else, like, it just needed to make sense, even if I never knew the book was upside underneath. For my fifth and final project this week, I am going to make over this little plant stand. This was from Mr. Russ's free estate sale. I am just going to hand sand the top. Quite honestly, it's because I did not feel like going outside with the orbital sander. And I'm going to be decoupaging the top, so I just need a little bit of this warpedness to go away. And this did the trick. I am in the fall moody mood, and guys, this turquoise was not like, I was challenged that I need to use this color right now. So what I decided to do is go over the bottom of the plant stand. At first I was just going to go in certain spaces, but I ended up doing one whole coat on the bottom of this plant stand with the idea that it will be an accent color from underneath. I can handle like this in the spring, but it's a lot of blue for me, guys. I love neutral. So I just did one coat of Old 57, and then I sealed it with liquid patina, and here is why. DIY paint can be reactivated with water until it is sealed. So I am doing the Old 57 underneath, sealing that in, and then I'm going over the top of this with a little black dress. And guys, I did not even use half of this little sample size. This black goes so far. So I'm going over the whole thing. I basically did one coat and then figured out the little spaces that I missed slightly. So I'm going to call it 1.5 coats. After that, I wet distress it so that the Old 57 can come through. And this is just the gorgeousness I was looking for. Next, I seal it with DIY's dark wax. I just love putting dark wax over a little black dress to have that gorgeous, rich black color. After the dark wax is on there, I do it in sections, and then I wipe it back with a paper towel to rub off the excess and kind of buff it out. Then I grab some more of that Roy's paper that I used in the first project, and I use liquid patina and just decoupage it on the top of the wood round. The colors in this paper go so well with the old 57 and the little black dress. Great job, Sonnet, on your color selection, even if that blue was a little much for me. I just think it looks so good with this gorgeous paper from Royce. So what did you guys think of today's projects and the products in this month's Maker's Box from Sonnet? I'm so excited to say that I am part of her affiliate program now. So if you guys have not yet signed up for her subscription box, and I convinced you today that you should jump on board and get this nice little happy mail every month, go ahead and use my link. You don't pay any different of a price, but she is going to send over a little thank you for every link that is used. If you are not ready to sign up for this box, don't forget that Royce and Connie have amazing items. I'm excited to say that I am carrying both of those lines on my website. I'm going to be doing Connie's papers in my stores at Angry Mama's Antiques and Interiors in Cumming, Georgia, and both Connie's papers and Royce's papers on my website at createyourowncozy.com. So many options for creating. I hope that you guys got inspired to either use the Maker's Box, sign up for the Maker's Box, or use what you already have to create and feed that inner creative soul. If you are new here, I would love it if you would hit subscribe, hit your notification bell all so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Guys, I am so thankful you are here. So thankful. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.
That's the money shot. Yes. You look happy.
Bye.